G'day. How are ya? You battler? Okay, so over the Easter break 2021, I called up my mate Jacek. He's a passionate Polish tennis player, and we decided to get out in the thick of the heat and hit for a couple hours. And this is us starting off doing cross courts. I'm practicing my backhand here, and for those of you who don't already know, I learned tennis as a right-hander, but at the end of around about 2018, start of 2019, I developed a right shoulder labral tear, and it's basically ended my career, and I've switched to playing left-handed. And I desperately need the practice, so I'm very thankful to players like Jacek to put up with me and hit on the weekends. And you can't tell from the footage here, it was really, really hot. I reckon it was pushing 30 degrees this day, and when I do cross courts, I try to start from the middle, step out to the side, and then recover to the middle again. And as I got more and more fatigued, I just found it harder to recover. I guess that's also a result of being on the wrong side of 40. But practice makes perfect. So I'm using a Prince Phantom here. It's a 93 square inch racket with a 14 by 18 string pattern. I was using a Babolat Pure Drive. I first started using that racket because it's such a power-friendly racket, and I thought using my non-dominant arm, I might need all the help I can get. But being such a power-dominant racket, it also lacks a bit of control. I think that racket is probably better used with somebody who knows how to control the ball, which I feel I can, but in a match situation I'd be looking for something offering a bit more control. And so I bought these online without even ever having tried them, and just thought, well, I've played with a lot of rackets in the past, and some weeks ago I was hitting with my old Sampras racket, and I thought, oh, this is pretty good. I've always liked swinging that racket through the air. Why don't I go for something that's a little bit more forgiving, slightly bigger head size, but not quite as big as 98 or 100. And this is the only racket on the market at the moment that sort of fits that profile. Very open string pattern, small head size. It's quite a weighty racket. What do I think of it? It's okay. It's a bit heavy. I think I need to build up the strength in my left arm before I really, really love it. But yeah, it offers a good amount of control. It's definitely a player's stick. It's got such a thin beam, and you do need to sort of strike the ball fairly heavy for it to feel good in your hands. And I naturally, just being a tall guy, I naturally have a sort of a long swing path, and my sort of standard rally ball tends to be fairly quick, I guess. I'm using Technifibre Razor Code, 1.25 gauge in there, and it's strung at 48 pounds. And I think that's where I'll keep it. Those strings feel pretty good in there. Being a smaller head size, I think you can afford to go a bit looser. I did actually first try it with the strings strung at 46 pounds. I think that was just a bit too lively. So I'll stick it at 48. Hardest thing about playing left-handed is the footwork. I can just stand in one corner and just hit balls, but I really do need to practice moving and getting used to my feet. Getting used to my feet working in the opposite way. I got to hand it to Jacek here. He really did play pretty well that day, I thought. Like, he kept the ball in and hit a nice amount of spin. It was really helpful to me, the ball that he was hitting. I've tried to hit with as many different people as possible so that I get a different ball. I think it's important to change your hitting partners as much as you can, because we all hit the ball a different way, different pace, different amount of spin. We all have different styles as well, so it forces you to watch the other player and anticipate where the ball's coming. I've been watching some of the pros hit up, some of my favourite players like Gasquet and Wawrinka. And gosh, they're really gifted, those people, aren't they? The way they get so low to the ball, the way they can just keep their centre of gravity slightly lower than the average person, which I think makes them stronger. You know, if you play too upright, you're slower, you're less balanced. And every time I watch myself, I think, gosh, couldn't I have done this better or done that better? You think you're doing it when you're on court hitting, and then you watch yourself and you're just like, ugh, that just looks totally different to what I thought I was doing. But that's why we get out and practice. The high balls are difficult as a brand new lefty. Anything waist height or down below, as for most players, is easy to hit, but when it starts getting up around shoulder height, it's hard to wrap that racket over the top of the ball, especially when you're using your non-dominant arm. It's not exactly my non-dominant arm. I am actually a lefty by nature. I write and throw left-handed. I was just taught right-handed, which is a long story. My slice feels mostly pretty good. I seem to be able to control that ball well. The backhand, topspin backhand it's just a harder shot, isn't it? You just got to time the ball that much better. I think I do tend to vary the grip a little bit as well, based on the ball that I'm trying to hit back. If it's come really high, I might sort of turn my grip around a bit to make it more of a Western style or Gasquet style backhand, which I probably shouldn't do. If anybody has some tips, please comment below. I don't care how nasty they are. Make them as nasty as you like. Just tell me, what am I doing wrong? Say, Tom, your footwork sucks, do this. Or, the flight of your preparation swing should be like this or like that. Some of those shots may look good, those ones down the line, but yeah, they're not intentional. I've hit them late. I'm trying to hit all of these cross court. Sometimes when I hit my slice, it'll float. I like it to sort of knife a bit. And a nice trajectory across the net. I know that's what we're all seeking. Those ones out wide are really, really tough, especially in the heat. See that slice there, just floating a bit. The ball was pretty deep, of course, but yeah, that's a better slice where you sort of knife it a bit. That was rubbish. The ball was a bit long though. The The racket I'm using has a 4 3/8 grip size. I almost wish I had taken a 4 1/4 and built the grip up a bit, just as I could wrap my hand around. But again, it's a strength thing. Like my left hand isn't used to gripping a racket, and when you play tennis, as loose as you should be so that you can swing your racket head quickly through the air, at the time that you make impact with the ball, you have to squeeze and stiffen your forearm so that during the collision of the racket hitting the ball, your arm doesn't come off second best. You have to keep that racket stiff in your hand so that you can send the ball back to where it came from. And the best sportsmen in the world, the best tennis players, the ones who can remain very loose through their swing preparation and swing follow through, but at the moment of impact just send this pulse of stiffness through their hand into the racket handle and create a successful collision, a good shot. So now we're doing cross-court forehands. My forehand is better. I remember getting out with my coach Steve Thompson probably close on a year ago now, and there is another YouTube video of me hitting with him, and it was mostly backhands. He said, "Tom, your forehand's fine, let's just work on your backhand. That's the thing that really needs work." The backhand is a more natural shot, than a forehand. The forehand's a bit of an unnatural sort of movement. Not fully unnatural, but yeah, just compared to a backhand, it's not as natural, but it's still a more powerful shot on average. Having said that, I think if you line a backhand up and you get your feet right, if you can extend that arm through the ball, particularly one-handed, and everything lines up, I wonder if it is actually possible to hit a backhand faster than a forehand. The top speed of both your shots combined. Perhaps the backhand has the potential to be a shot that's hit harder than the forehand, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, forehand I think looks pretty good. I wish I had one of those cool follow-throughs like Federer and Wawrinka and all these sort of more modern players, where their arm follow-throughs across sort of mid-shaft of the upper arm. My shot, when I follow through, it tends to go up more around my shoulder, so my racket goes from low to high. It's just where it naturally goes, and it's fine. The end result's okay, but I just like that look where those guys throw their arm at the ball playing a forehand, and their wrist breaks in deflection and sort of wraps around the midsection of their body. Probably doesn't matter though, it's all about what the ball does in relation to the racket straight after it's been hit. Probably doesn't matter where you follow through. So why do we practice cross-court? Well, hitting cross-court, it's the longest part of the court and the lowest part of the net. So it's a high percentage shot. And it's good to practice it, because if you can hit your cross-courts well, you can usually neutralise a point and get back into a rally, wait for that short ball, and then pull the trigger down the line, something like that. When I try and play cross-court, I'm, first and foremost trying to get the ball in, of course, but it's nice to try and hit the ball like 1 or 2 metres over the net and still keep it in. Forces me to rip over the top of that ball and keep a nice trajectory where I can hit high, clear the net, but still keep the ball in, dip it right near the baseline, have it bounce up. Of course, as I say this, you'll watch the balls and hardly any of them will go like 1 to 2 metres above the net. There we go, that's kind of a nice trajectory, I think. There's an example of one of my floating backhands that I don't like. And a shank. Yeah, again, if people are watching this, I'd really like to hear your suggestions as to how I might be able to improve my technique or any other facets of my game. I know this is just hitting, but I've played tennis for over 30 years now. I started when I was 6. In this video, I'm just over 40. Yeah, I'm by no means a professional, but still, I do feel like I've achieved a level of mastery. You know, when you've played the sport for that long, like I do feel like I understand the game, you know, the angles and where I should play the ball in certain points. You know, whether I do or I don't is another matter completely. But I've been passionate about this sport for so many years, and you know, sometimes if you were to watch me on court and my behaviour, you'd think that I hate it, and in those moments I do. But yeah, I always keep on coming back. So that's for test for real passion. And there's a lot of tennis players out there who can sympathise with me on that one. You know, it's a sport we love to hate. But yeah, there's nothing quite like hitting a sweet forehand or a backhand, you know, watching it come off your racket. Just that feeling of centering a ball, much unlike the one I just hit then. Or then. But practice. That's what we're trying to do here, trying to practice, trying to get better. Yeah, I think I need more energy today. Jeez, it was hot. Really hot. It's such a grind, tennis. It's such a grind. You run out to that ball, put your foot down, lunge into the shot, push off. Gosh, it draws so much energy. And when you're sweating bullets on a 30-degree day, it just makes it that much harder. Yeah, pretty happy with the rallies we're having here. Like we kept the ball in play. It was really fun. So appreciative to Jacek again for putting up with me. And guys, drop some comments down there. Subscribe. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers so I can monetize my channel and profit. That's what we want. We want profit. Okay? Being honest, that's what we want. Profit. Enjoy your lives. Subscribe to my channel.